Welcome to Live to Two. I'm Jim Ellentenny. I'm very excited to share music with you this episode from Pop Culture, a local Syracuse area band. This week's production team are Jason O'Neill and Mason Manteau, both of whom are sound recording technology students in the Setner School of Music at Syracuse University. We are on the campus of Syracuse University in lovely Syracuse, New York, where it has recently stopped snowing. Thrilled to be out here with Pop Culture. Pop Culture is the first group that was excited about being a part of this. Not that I asked anybody else, but I'm happy that I've had them here.
I'm John Fedison. I play lead guitar.
I'm Michael Wolf. I play rhythm guitar.
Yeah, I'm Joe Winslow, and I play saxophone, flute, and sometimes the iwi.
I'm Mike Bacuzzi. I play keys.
My name's Foster Valley, and I play the bass.
I'm Grady Collingborn, and I play the drums.
Grady is a student here at SU, Joe's former student. The rest of these fellas I just met for the first time. Thrilled to have been able to work with them here in the studio. So the Live to Two idea is we bring in artists, we mic them up, they perform live as if they were in a live setting, and we record it straight from there. There's no post-production in mixing. All the mixing is done live. I thought this would be a great exercise, not only for the artists, but also for my students to kind of get some experience with that.
This band started way back in 2021, but prior to that, me, Foster, Mike here, we all went to SUNY ESF, and basically we all shared the same dorm room our freshman year, and these two guys were roommates, and I walked by their room one day. They were both jamming on the guitar, and I told them, hey, I play keys as well, and then we decided to start playing together. In the fall of 2021, we kind of made it official. We got a couple drummers on board. We got John over on guitar. And then for a bit of time, like 7 to 8 months, we played with that lineup. And then eventually, our drummers kind of went their own way. John moved back to Rochester for a little bit, and then we brought in Grady and Joe Winslow into the band. So this iteration has been around since the summer of 2022 now, right? Yeah. It really started out with me, Foster, and Mike getting together, and then everyone else just got added on after.
I'm not from Syracuse. I've recently relocated here, and I love it. I think it's a great city. And I know from my experience, there's a lot of great musicians around here. There's a lot of great live music. One thing that I share with people all the time is that the city of Syracuse loves live music, particularly in the summertime. Like when it's nice out, like live music is everywhere, which I absolutely love. So, and I get the sense that you guys are all about live music as well. What about live music? What is it about that connects with you, that makes you want to share it with people?
Well, I think I can kind of speak for all of us. It really comes down to being in the moment, and it's kind of a unique experience where you can experience this magic that's happening. You're experiencing that with the artists that are on stage. So whether you're on stage doing it or you're in the audience listening, it's really a magical experience to kind of see what's flowing out of the musicians live.
Can you say any live music experience that was like monumental in your like development, that when you saw it you're like, I got to get involved in that, I got to do part of that?
Well, on a small scale, my dad is also one of like the local Syracuse musicians. I grew up like watching him play like local festivals and stuff like that. So that was definitely an early catalyst for me being like, oh, like I could like play music. Like any random person could like learn to play music. And that really inspired me. And then when I saw Van Halen in like 2015 at Bethel Woods, I was like, whoa. And like that totally expanded my brain. And since then, I've seen tons of shows that have just, anytime I go to a good live concert, like I always end up wanting to practice like later that day or the next day. And like I have to shed, like I have to figure out how they were doing what they were just doing. I need to get on that level. So yeah, I've had plenty. I don't know.
Pretty recently, actually, me and Mike Bacuzzi, we went down to Portchester Theater and got to see John McLaughlin with Shakti. Nice. And I'm a huge Mahavishnu John McLaughlin fan, and it was kind of crazy to be able to go see them. And we were far away. We were up in a balcony, but being touched by the presence of that band was absolutely spiritual and incredible. And we were just sitting in the car after, just like, wow. We got to see all that, and then that's informed a lot of the stuff, that we're starting to do now with how we feel about the music, how we want to feel on stage, and how they were able to captivate an audience, and how we can go and captivate that audience as well. So
so for me, it was kind of this band Moon Hooch, which is a little bit of a smaller band, but it's 2 saxes and drums. And I had some friends back in high school who they wanted to start a band, and we kind of modeled it after like the Moon Hooch, their lineup. And then we had been playing like that for a little bit, and it was like, music that is so different from anything I was getting in school. Because in school, like, my high school didn't have a jazz band. Like, we're just playing classical music. And then we took a trip to Portland, Maine, and saw Moon Hooch live. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is what I could be doing on my saxophone. And so that got me, I was like, all right, I want to practice. I want to play stuff like that,
Awesome.
For me, it kind of came from listening back to live recordings of the Grateful Dead. I don't get out to many shows for a lot of reasons, but I do enjoy listening back to old recordings of live shows. And that kind of sparked a lot of inspiration for me because, I was listening to a Dead show, and my ear kind of latched onto what Bob Weir was doing, kind of comping these different chord inversions and sliding them all around. And I thought that was kind of unique to what, it was a unique approach to rhythm guitar. And I really was inspired by that and wanted to learn more and see how to do that. So I have Foster and John to thank for that because we grew up together and they really put me onto that.
Yeah. Bobby definitely kind of took his own path when it comes to rhythm guitar. And it's a lot of fun to listen to. And since you brought it up, is there a particular era of those recordings that you've been more focused on?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a big 70s Dead guy, specifically early 70s.
Yeah, all right. You and I are just fine.
Yeah.
80s all the way.
No. Yeah, I'm not.
I will say, for a long, long time, probably when I was your age, I would only listen to early 70s Dead because I was like, the rest of this is nonsense. And then when I got a little bit older, I was like, 89, 90.
That's
Resorts.
cooking. Yeah, the 89 stuff is great.
Yeah. So, it's a lifelong enjoyment of listening to them for me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I will say for my end, after this is like a year into the band, summer of 2022, I went to go see my first Fish show at Bethel.
Oh, you and I are also good.
Yeah. And I mean, as you can tell, a lot of us do really like, the jam bands, Widespread Panic, that kind of thing, and that influences our music a lot. But going to see that show and really seeing the dynamic of the band on stage, how they all just seemed so just relaxed and in the pocket all the time. It was truly something incredible, and it gave me something to like look up to and aim for, in our own like on stage performances, and just being able to improvise on the fly. Like seeing those shows, I was already a Fish fan beforehand, but that really just kind of solidified it for me. And,
I would say that that was, if I had to pick a moment, it was for me too, right?
Yeah.
So when I was like 16, I saw Fish New Year's Eve '95, which is like considered a good show, and it just forever was like that's it, that's what I'm looking for, right? So let's transition to a little bit in the studio. I know you guys recently recorded some music and are about to put it out. What's that experience like compared to performing live?
Yeah, I think especially as a band that's so used to playing live and like having leeway, I guess, with like, I don't even want to say mistakes, but just there's an ebb and flow to a live show, and we play really long songs. Getting in the studio was definitely a challenge. It was a challenge. So we went in I think October or late September, sometime around then, to record the album. Recorded, I think, every song, and then had to redo pretty much everything except for one portion of our song Between the Trees, because there were so many technical issues. We were under such a like time crunch, and weirdly it was more stressful than like performing in front of a crowd, because it was just a grind. It was a grind. We were working really hard in a way that like we've never worked together, and even myself, like being in the studio a lot, this was a completely different experience from anything I've had before. That being said, I am really, really happy with how everything came out. We just released everything on Bandcamp yesterday, Friday, April, what was yesterday? The 5th?
Yeah.
So yeah, as of yesterday, that is on Bandcamp. But yeah, I'm super happy that that's out in the world now.
I'll say from like, from our perspective, it was a very, very unique experience for us, because so we recorded over at Moltrack's studio with Jeff Molesky, and for those of you who don't know, his studio is all meant to capture kind of like a vintage sound. He records everything direct to tape and then brings it into Pro Tools and then does all the mixing in there. And when you record to tape, you don't necessarily always have that like, computer magic that you can just quickly go in and tweak things. So it was interesting to record. For me, it was a huge learning experience of like, okay, now next time I go into the studio, like I know exactly what I want out of it, So
And going to the studio is like it really puts a microscope on you, every single bit you can hear every little thing, and you can get away with some stuff live that you can't get away with.
Oh yeah, that's huge. Yeah. Really, a lot of our music is, and you can hear it in the recordings, it's a lot of fun for us to play. We never play anything that we're like, this is going to appeal to the audience no matter what, but we don't feel right about it. Everything that we play, we feel really right about it, and that you can see in the live shows, like, oh, people get it. When they're on for the journey and they're ready to kind of take off with you, and you can feel that energy and they're coming back at you, it's just a great, absolutely great feeling, and we actually got to capture a little of that in the recording in our studio. So it was awesome, and so being able to do that when the listener kind of takes in, they get to that live aspect because we recorded all live in room. There's only a couple overdubs that were done, so that's kind of captured in our studio recording. And then you come see us live, it's really great vibes, a good time, and you're brought on a journey. You got to be there from start to finish, and we're bringing you through it. So
Cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to add something. So we typically have pretty long songs. So any folks out there listening who maybe aren't used to long songs, just some tips if you want to have develop the patience to get through a 10-minute song. When I was first starting out listening to jam bands, I would like to put something on and then go do something. So that's kind of just in the background. You're in a passive state, just kind of absorbing it, keeping an open mind, not really thinking about it too much. But I think that's just a good way to, it can be intimidating looking at a song. You're like, man, this is like 15 minutes. But it's not that long when what can you get done around your house in 15 minutes, That's
Pop
how I
culture
like
is
to look
great
at it.
background music.
Doing the dishes, laundry, yeah.
But yeah, and
No,
then for the folks that come see us live, they already know this, but for people who haven't seen us, we never do the same show twice. No. We don't do the same set twice. We don't play the same songs exactly the same. So, you're going to get a unique experience every time. And, what we've noticed is, we've got our core group of fans that come out every show because they know that they're going to get a different and unique experience.
Awesome.
So next, we're actually playing at Funkin' Waffles on May 2nd. That's going to be a big show for us.
Playing with another great jam band.
Yeah, another great jam band, Hydrogen. So
And Kuzi's birthday.
and it's my
Oh
birthday.
yeah, his birthday shows. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. Thank you for having us. This
Yeah,
was awesome.
yeah,
It's a
thank you
great
so much.
experience.
My pleasure. Thank you guys. Thank you.